I'm sure that some of the TikTok teachers that are coming out to their students on TikTok, which is a whole other conversation, super weird. But I'm sure a lot of those teachers are great teachers. And then they're not trying to indoctrinate children or anything like that. I'm sure that the odds of them being somebody that's proselytizing the trans ideology, the woke, the Marxist ideology behind critical theory and gender theory and all that stuff, I'm sure the vast majority of people that are trans educators are not doing that to the children. They're just being open about who they are as human beings. Right. I bet that is the vast majority of cases.
Right.
And to assume that the opposite is taking place, I think seems ignorant on both sides of this conversation.
Right.
You know, I just don't think people generally act like that, man.
No.
Except for on the internet. Because people are really fucking stupid on the internet and they say dumb shit.
Right.
But
and I want to address some of the concerns, right? Some of the points here.
Bring back up the YouTube
so
here.
one of the things is,
will the average person read that document, understand the content, Lenny said, about the bill? Well, we just went through it. I think the average person can read it and understand it. Absolutely.
I think so. It would take time. Very informative show. I have to get going. I'll tune in for the next program. Thank you very much,
Thanks, Lenny.
Watch this. No, I think it could take time.
Yeah.
Right? But I think that you could.
You definitely could. 7 pages. You can digest it.
Yeah. There's a lot of things that...
reading through government speak on its own is a challenge, but it's you do it a few times. You read this thing 2 or 3 times, you'll understand the gist of it.
And Lenny, to your point, one of the sections of this bill was that all of this needs to be explained in like a newsletter, an informative flyer. Something that doesn't say those things. Those are the words that I'm coming up with. Some type of newsletter to tell the parents what the new policy is.
Yeah.
The school districts have to write one out and send it to the parents to let them know what the changes are going to be. So even if you don't read this bill, the letter has to obviously be in line with what the bill is, because the Board of Education is crafting it and sending it out. So I
mean, you as a student, where you were told at some point, like to hey, here's a handout for your parents. You need to bring this home to your parents tonight. Yeah, you know, I remember stuff like that.
And that's what's going to happen. That will break down what this is. And I would imagine, especially coming out of Florida, it won't be ideological in nature, that newsletter or that flyer. It will be informative in nature of, this is the new policy, this is what it says. Probably similar to shit that we saw around the COVID policy in camps and stuff like that, like a newsletter that's like, this is what the media is saying and this is what the reality is. It would probably look a lot like that. Is what I would imagine. So I want to address some of the concerns that were brought up, some of the concerns that are brought up about this bill. LZ Grammar, this was Brad Milkey, when discussing this with LZ Manor, poorly misrepresented the claims by Joe Harding and about teachers and indoctrination and about course materials that are being introduced. Brad Milkey said, oh, well, you know, Joe Harding laid out this whole scenario that said this was really about renegade kindergarten teachers that are trying to express their ideology. Joe Harding never said anything like that. He said, we have districts that are using something. The example he gave is the Genderbread person for kids as young as 3rd grade. Right? Okay, one of the things I sent you is the Genderbread person. We have seen this in multiple locations. This is a real document. Children are actually being used. This is really being used in multiple locations. You can see on this form, it's in multiple languages, right? There are different versions of it. All of them. At the top of the corner, it says that it's pronounced metrosexual.com. And I was like, that sounds really silly, right? So the Genderbread person, we can, oh no, I followed the pathway. Because we're going to go through all of it, okay? So Genderbread person, this breaks down transgender and woke or gender and trans ideology, right? At the top, your brain is your gender identity. It's woman, gender queer, and man. Woman on the left side, gender queer on the middle, man on the right side. Gender identity is how you, in your head, think about yourself. It's the chemistry that composes you, e.g. hormone levels, and how you interpret what that means. That's not science. Gender expression, right? This has to do with your outside. This is the outside line. Feminine to the left, androgynous in the middle, masculine to the right. Gender expression is how you demonstrate your gender based on traditional gender roles. I thought those are socially constructed.
They are.
I thought they didn't matter.
Oh no.
Oh wait. Okay.
We can't make a rule that says something that we don't agree with.
Through the ways that you act, dress, behave, and interact. Who is to define what a traditional gender role is? Fuck you. You're their teacher. Biological sex. This is your private parts, right? As you can see, there's a male symbol, a female symbol, then to the left, that's like it's both of them put together. Biological sex, female, intersex, male. Biological sex refers to the objectively measurable organs, hormones, and chromosomes. Female equals vagina, ovaries, XX chromosome. Male equals penis, testes, XY chromosomes. Intersex equals a combination of the two, which is not, I'm not a doctor, but generally to my understanding, that's not a lifestyle or a condition you can uphold. You kind of have to choose one or the other at sex or at birth, right?
Well, and then at birth you don't choose. It just is.
Well, I mean, like if you're born with two different pairs of sex organs,
yes.
you don't get to keep both generally. You choose one or the other.
Oh, I have never heard of that.
Understanding. That's my understanding.
And I'm going to have to give that to you because I don't know that much about birth and
my
how that whole process works.
I could be incorrect. I leave that open for that. That's my understanding.
But right? I also understand that there are people that are born with
yes.
not just an XY or
yes.
an XX. I know that
yes.
there is a thing as asexual or
yes.
intersex. I know there is a thing called
yes.
that.
Just like, and we'll get into this when we talk about the trans Texas bill, just like gender dysmorphia is real.
Yeah.
That is a real thing. People and children do experience and suffer from that. As young as 1-2 years old, it starts to express itself. If you do have gender dysmorphia, that is a real thing. That exists, right?
Yep.
The bottom section here, sexual orientation, heterosexual on the left, bisexual, homosexual on the right. Sexual orientation is who you are physically, spiritually, and emotionally attracted to based on their sex, gender, and relation to your own. Okay, so this is the document that is being used for children, what do you say, as young as in 3rd grade, I believe is what he said. Reproduction. It's a genderbread person in multiple districts, so I didn't have the age in here. But you can see it's also, Colin, if you scroll a little bit, it's in multiple languages. There is one in French. There's one in German. This is being used around the globe.
Interesting.
Right? You scroll down, you'll eventually start to see some that are not that far. You don't have to go that far.
Whoa.
You just have to look at the words at the top.
Yeah, they're all really small.
Yep.
Let me go through them.
So there's
right
there, right above. Go down one row.
Down one row.
And over 3. 1, 2,
3.
That one's
there it is. There
That's
it is.
in
Look.
French. So
we found the France.
It's in multiple languages. Again, it says it's pronounced metrosexual.com. So if we go to this website, I also sent you this link.
Metrosexual.com.
It's pronounced metrosexual.com.
It's pronounced metrosexual.
Yes, it's pronounced metrosexual is your free online resource for learning and teaching about gender, sexuality, social justice, created by Sam Killerman. Who the fuck is Sam Killerman? I also sent you that link.
Yeah, I was going to say, who is Sam
I'm SK,
Killerman?
an activist, artist, author, person. I create art tools and resources for global justice. My life's work is websites, book, curriculum, edugraphs, comics, courses, keynotes, and comedy shows that I use to tell a story about a world where everyone is healthy, understood, educated, and safe.
Sounds utopian to me.
Social justice minus dogma. Okay, this is the person.
Well, there's a picture of him being sponsored by a TED. So the TED Talk, folks,
this is
that
real.
Sounds familiar.
LZ Grammar said this doesn't exist. I've just shown you in 5 minutes that this is real. I've just shown you in 5 minutes that this is real. This exists.
Wow.
It is being used in multiple states. This exists. ABC News is actively spreading propaganda about these bills, and they don't care. The very next thing after this, after this interview with LZ Grammar, the very next thing was an ad for his show.
Really?
He's an ABC News contributor. So he's going to be super objective, right?
Of course.
He doesn't have any stake in this at all.
LZ what?
LZ Granderson.
I was going to say, let's just pull it up real quick.
Yep, LZ Granderson. And in the ad for his show, Don Lemon was being interviewed. Okay. He's an ABC News contributor.
Yep.
They played
pull up
an
his
ad
Wikipedia.
for his show after they interviewed him.
Oh, bro.
Let's hear
Okay,
it.
so you look at the thing, it says the letter L, the letter Z, and then I pull up his Wikipedia, and it's fucking spelled out LZ, ELZIE, LEE, Zil. Okay.
Right.
LZ Lee, and then, quote, LZ Granderson. LZ Lee Granderson is his name. That is, I'm not going to lie, that's kind of a dope name. Your name is LZ, but it's actually spelled out phonetically. Anyways, the American journalist and former actor Oh shit, we're gonna have to IMDb him after this.
Uh-oh.
Sorry, buddy.
I'll do it.
Is an American journalist and former actor. He is currently a senior writer and columnist for ESPN, the magazine, a co-host of Sports Nation on ESPN, afternoon co-host of ESPN LA 710. Is 710 just the AM station for sports everywhere?
Maybe.
Okay. Anyways, and a columnist for CNN, Granderson. Bro, you're sports, but you also work for CNN. That tells a lot. Granderson was named the Los Angeles Times sports and culture columnist in January 2019. Granderson is a former writer for ESPN.com, page 2, and he has contributed to channel Sports Center, Outside the Lines, Around the Hum, and ESPN's First Take. The commentates for ESPN's coverage of the U.S. Open tennis tournament. He has also hosted the website ESPN 360 talk show Game Night. Granderson has appeared as a color commentator for CBS Sports during the coverage of World Team Tennis. So what network, again, is Start Here? ABC, right? So then down there at the bottom, Granderson
ABC,
is a
which is
former
also-
fellow of the Institute of Politics at the University of Chicago and the Hechinger Institute of Columbia University, as well as a columnist for ABC News. So he's not just a
And-
contributor, he's a columnist for
And
ABC News.
For ESPN, which
Yep.
is also owned by Disney. ABC is also owned by Disney.
So he's
All
all
of these things.
So
He's a Disney shill.
He's a Disney shill.
Yes. These things on his IMDb.
Wow.
LZ Granderson titles. LZ Granderson, being a black man, gay man, progress in sports world and athlete activism. LZ Granderson, the myth of the gay agenda. That's his TED Talk.
Oh, so he's like not in movies and things.
He
It's
isn't.
just
It looks like he
like
was
documentaries and things.
in Zebrahead in 1992, and
and it's a movie?
I guess
Oh, close.
LZ Granderson, if this
Interesting.
the person that we're thinking of, To Stir with Love 2 and Zebrahead. He's in Larry, or he's at Larry, and in To Stir with Love 2 he plays Arch Carothers.
Interesting.
So Self, he has 21 Self credits. Tamron Hall TV series, This Week TV series, Good
Yeah.
Morning America 3, What You Need to Know, Good Morning America, Keyshawn, J. Will, and Zubin. The issue is the year 2020, Good Morning America, 2020, CNN News, Newsday, Spider-Man Far From Home live credit world premiere. This week in
Whoa,
Marvel,
he was Spider-Man Far From Home, huh?
red carpet world premiere.
Oh, so he was
The
at the
TV special. Yes.
Word. Okay. Yeah,
Marvel
yeah, yeah.
Studios Avengers Endgame live red carpet world premiere, Alone in the Game documentary, Sports Nation, Mike and Mike TV series, DAZ Unboxing, The Nightly Show with Larry Wilmore, The Wendy Williams Show, and Crossfire.
Isn't that funny that when you think about it, like you have to have these, you have to belong to these certain groups to have your appearances on things like the Wendy Williams show up on IMDb when you go in there. I don't know if it's SAG or what the deal is, but like you have to have some kind of affiliation to something to show up as an accredited person on all these individual like daytime talk shows and shit like that. Strange. So anyways, he makes the rounds for sure.
He's an activist.
Oh, Caroline isn't yet. And when someone is born, one cannot choose for themselves because they are babies. So it is up to what the parents want to choose for the baby. Amen. And that, yeah, and at that point, then you're dealing with the parents' decision. And so that must go back to that conversation we were having earlier about like the choice
Yes.
at birth, which again, like I'm unfamiliar with. But
Yes. And that's as far as like your sexual organs, like your actual
Yeah.
physical sexual organs is what I'm referring to.
yeah.
I don't know about the chromosomes and stuff like that. I'm just speaking specifically like if you have a vagina and like also a micro penis and not like a large clitoris or something, then it is not uncommon, to my understanding, again, to have one of them or the penis
I'm also kind of
removed.
wondering, like, soonish, I would imagine at this point, like, CRISPR is a thing we know exists.
Yes.
They made the
The AIDS free
immune
baby.
Yeah, they
AIDS
made the
immune
AIDS-
baby.
yeah,
I forgot all about
they
that.
did
Yeah.
that in China. I mean, I'm not saying that it's not possible now. Maybe it is possible now, and it's
Probably.
just one of those things only in like the Ukrainian chemical biological research facilities.
Right.
You know, maybe in like certain labs or whatever. But like, if it exists and if it's possible, like, couldn't that be something that people could eventually like choose for themselves. Is at some point we're going to be there sooner rather than later. I mean, the technology already exists. It's just not necessarily implemented at this point. So, really, is this a whole argument kind of just moot? Is it going to be moot in like 20 years when you could just pick whatever you want? If you want to have a child that looks like a foxkin, maybe you'll be able to do that. I don't know about that.
I just have one more point that I want to hit on this, and then we can move on to the Texas trans bill.
Oh, yes, indeed.
I'm not inherently against this bill. Protecting the rights of parents and limiting the influence of tax-funded government organizations actually is the job of government. And it disturbs me that any government felt that this is necessary, and the apathy of parents in our country have led us here.
Welcome to the salt of the streets, coming at you every week with this food for thought. Hope you ready to eat.